anything anything I thought people would click. But
you want to talk about asshole moves by Vince McMahon and people like that. So Ryback comes out for commentary during, I think it was...
What did you think of his commentary?
I thought it was okay on commentary.
I was impressed, to be honest with you.
So it was during the... it was Curtis Axel and Biggie Langston, right? So he comes out and he puts on the headset, right? And the first line that comes out of his mouth is, "Sorry my voice is so hoarse tonight. I've been hanging out with Lillian Garcia." I said, what the fuck, man? Are you serious? Because he said, "Sorry my voice is so hoarse tonight. I've been hanging out with Lillian Garcia." And I'm thinking, listen.
What do you make of that?
It's been an ongoing joke, I guess, among everybody. You look at Lillian Garcia, and some people say that she's got a face that resembles a horse.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
I was thinking she's a singer, and that's why she would be.
No,
maybe he was singing with.
I've heard the comment made on my Facebook page, on the comment threads, on the websites. People say some women. A term that is used is some women have a face that looks like a horse.
Yeah, horse face.
And Lillian Garcia, the long stretched out with the chin, and Lillian Garcia, apparently, in the view of some fans, has a face that looks like a horse.
I think she's hot as shit.
I think she's pretty goddamn hot too. But I could see where people get the horse face reference.
No, I get it.
As it pertains
Howard
to Lillian
Stern's
Garcia.
wife. There was a famous roast they did, and Baba Booey.
He's still with Beth.
Yeah.
Is he?
They're married, yeah.
Yeah.
But, they're doing the roast, and you think that he's talking, it was the Baba Booey roast, Gary Baba Booey, and they say he looks like an ape. He's got an ape face, a horse face, this and that, right? So he's doing the big setup for this joke, and you think he's talking about Baba Booey, and then he gets to the punchline, and I don't even remember what it was, but he was talking about Beth, and then he's like, "In case you didn't let me translate that for you." And he goes, just a fucking horse noise and shit.
That's awesome.
Stern was pissed about that.
You know who else has got an ape face?
Who?
Dude upstairs.
Guy with all the clothes?
Right?
I don't know.
Dude upstairs.
I guess. I can't picture his face. I just know he's a big fucker.
You got the ape face, man. But anyway, so I thought you knew that line came directly from Vince McMahon or Triple H, one of the two backstage that are on the headsets, coming out there. I guess it was funny, man, but if you're Lillian Garcia, man, and you've worked for wait a minute, you've worked for you can sit here and say it because you're not Lillian Garcia, but listen, she's been loyal to WWE for years and years and years and years, right? And has always put over the company, always said that she loves Vince McMahon, all the guys in the locker room are great, right? Always been loyal to that company, and then they go out there and basically say, you look like a horse, what the fuck? It's just a dickhead thing to do, man.
Like the AJ Lee cartoon, that's fucked up to AJ, but it's funny.
There's some jokes that you can think it inside your head, but keep your mouth shut about it, man. Don't go on national television in front of 3-4 million people and say, Lillian Garcia looks like a horse, everybody. That's a fucked up thing to do. You're a douchebag.
That's what I do. If you tell me there's a joke in my head, I gotta get it out of there. I can't leave it in there.
Well, sometimes there's been times where you've held back. You want to say things to somebody or certain people, and you hold back, man.
I'm trying to get laid or something that matters, make some money,
especially to a lady, to a woman. That's offensive. They take that shit personal, man.
Oh, I know, they're very sensitive.
Women are very sensitive as far as their looks are concerned.
The thing with Lillian back in the Attitude Era, Austin would always put on a big show after the event aired. He'd have fun, he'd get drunk, he'd do this and that. And I remember once, and I did this on a girl, Tiffany, once.
Yeah.
And he gets down on his knees. It's not bad at all. He gets down, it's about Lillian, though. He gets down on his knees, and Lillian's right there. He gets down on one knee, and he says, "Lillian Garcia, will you get me another beer?" I just thought it was awesome, so I said, I got to do that one of these times.
And you did it to Tim.
And she likes drinking a lot, so there was plenty of opportunities to do a beer joke.
That's funny. That's funny. All right, so let's get into it, man. We're only going to spend about 10 or 15 minutes on Raw. We'll do the, like I said, man, the high points and low points. We had woo! Woo! You got the soundboard up?
Do we have a woo?
We got a woo on the soundboard. Woo!
Oh, it's got the music with it. I don't like that. We gotta get a new woo.
Yeah, we do.
Woo!
Yeah. So Ric Flair, man, comes out. Obviously, what'd you just do? Shut up! So Ric Flair, man, obviously, last time we seen Ric Flair in WWE was the SummerSlam the panel that they had.
It was the 2K14 Symposium.
A symposium, that's the word I'm looking for.
What do you think about them inviting Flair, who was the guy that got drunk and caused all this shit?
That's another thing, man.
Jim Ross gets fired because he can't control Ric Flair being drunk, yet they invite Flair,
you know what?
And they don't invite Jim Ross.
We're talking about Lillian Garcia. Yeah, right. We're talking about Lillian Garcia and horse faces and jokes and things of that nature. You bring up Jim Ross, it's the same thing as pertains to him, man.
That's
mocking the Bell's palsy and everything else. I get it, man. I get it, but it's jokes that... I mean, listen, the guy's got Bell's palsy.
It's something you can't control. Lillian can't control her face. He can't control her face.
Yeah, all right. Anyway, but what do I think of it? I think it's fucked up, man. Yeah. And not only that, but, Jim Ross came out on Twitter, okay? And he said, he was specifically asked about that, about what happened at SummerSlam and Ric Flair being invited to Raw and, him basically getting snubbed. And he said... I know who was right and I know who was wrong, obviously saying I know that I did everything in my power to try to calm things down, and Ric Flair was in the wrong. So Jim's basically saying I was right, Flair was wrong, and Flair gets invited back to Raw. I tweeted Jim Ross and I said, man, that's respect, always classy. And Hall of Famer, and he retweeted it.
And he talked to me.
He retweeted it, but it's listen, man, it's true though. Now. It's kind of true, bro. Is it not? It's kind of fucked up, man.
Oh yeah,
Ric Flair was in the wrong here back at SummerSlam, right? And then he gets the invite back to Raw. Now, granted, who's the bigger star, Ric Flair or Jim Ross, as far as talent is concerned? Well, talent. On the announce booth, Jim Ross is, you know what I'm talking about. But as far as superstar and in-ring and, as far as if Ric Flair or Jim Ross was to walk out in front of an arena full of 15,000
Jim Ross isn't doing motivational speeches for the 49ers. That's Ric Flair.
Oh, man, we got to talk about that. I got that in the news file, too, man. He pissed off the Panthers.
You call me crazy. Ric Flair seemed drunk last night on Raw.
He always does, though, man.
He didn't seem to be as sharp as he normally is. His eyes were a little blurry and watery.
He always is, though, man.
He didn't seem to be that alive.
Well, you know he's on painkillers, man. I mean, the guy walks into a doctor. Of course, man. You can see it in his eyes. The guy, all he's got to do is, listen, I'm Ric Flair. I've been on the road. I've been on the road for, years and years wrestling. My body's beat up. I need some sort of painkiller, and they're giving him stuff left and right. Ric Flair's a party or two, so it wouldn't surprise me that he had a couple shots or something before he came to the ring.
He loves drinking when he's around in social situations with wrestlers, and it's a big deal. He likes to drink to have more fun.
So you thought he was a little bit off on the promo last night?
I didn't think it was so much off. He just wasn't as on as he normally is. It was a fine promo. I didn't think it was particularly great.
I thought Randy was all right. I thought Randy was really good in his role, where he came out and said, "Listen, man, we've had a past, obviously evolution and everything else. I respect you, but get out of my ring." Pretty much. Get the fuck out of my ring.
I thought it was cool that this is like an ongoing thing they've already been doing before Flair, which is where Orton bitches and complains about having to defend the title, and the authority tells him, "Well, if you're a true champion, a champion's a fighting champion. He defends his title, blah, 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 blah." And Flair is the fucking perfect example of a former champion of the past that would, fucking 5-6 times a week would be, hour-long matches defending the title.
No doubt. So
he's the best.
Made perfect sense, dude.
To have him be the guy to reiterate that.
So they go back and forth, right? And Randy starts getting pissed off. I mean, the basic gist of it is Flair's not leaving. Flair's not going anywhere. And if Randy wants him out of his ring, you're going to have to take me out. You're going to have to argue.
He went back and talked about how 10 years ago him and Triple H saw this guy who's the most athletically talented, blah, blah, blah. He was a good-looking guy, fun to hang out with. The ladies loved him. All this and that, but he was always immature.
Right.
And now you're bitching about having to defend the title.
Same thing with Flair, right? Yeah. Flair's a 60-some-year-old man. The ladies love him still, and he's a little bit immature, man. He acts like a high schooler. The ladies love him.
Number 5 or 6 or whatever. He's going to have as many wives as he did title reigns.
I know, pretty much, right?
But no, then Cena comes out and stands up. And Cena does this all the time.
Dude, Cena was in extra gangster mode last night, right?
Feeling froggy, Randall.
Yeah. Yo. What did he say? He said, you feeling froggy, jump. Nah, bro, it's you feeling froggy, leap.
Yeah.
Leap, because frogs leap. Leap
I've
frog.
Heard jump before.
Leap frog. You feeling froggy, leap. I jump.
I've heard jump before.
Have you?
Yeah.
I said leap.
Either way.
Feeling froggy.
No, he was a super gangster
Feeling
last night.
froggy
I'll
leap.
agree with that. And now I'm not feeling froggy. I'm feeling tired. But
Right.
I'm pretty fucking
He
hungry.
was
too.
super gangster, though, right?
Super hungry. Super gangster. And, yeah, it was just interesting to me that that was the only thing they did on Raw with Cena and Orton. They weren't on last week because they were in Toronto. So they weren't on at all last week. They were on for fucking 2 minutes this week.
Right.
So the last 6 hours of TV of WWE, they haven't done anything with those two
Triple
guys.
H, and that's the main event for Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Well, the Rumble match will be the main event, probably. You think?
I don't know.
I think the Rumble match.
I could have sworn I heard that is going to be the main event, the Rumble match.
The Rumble match, it should.
Yeah.
It should be.
Well, it shouldn't. The title match should be, but...
No Triple H and Stephanie last night on Raw either.
Was there?
I
I know
don't
Kane
think
and
there was-
Maddox was there. You're
Kane
right.
and
I think
Maddox.
there was no Triple H.
There was no Trips and Steph.
Why do I
last
think
night.
there was Stephanie, though? No, I guess
I don't think there was,
No,
man.
no,
I
there
don't think
wasn't.
there was at all. So what else happened at Raw? We'll talk. That was the opening segment.
Well, no, real quick, I was finishing my point.
All
Cena
right.
always does this when there's a beloved guy or a guy that's super over, like Daniel Bryan. He'll kiss his ass to, endear himself to the fans.
Right.
Try and get a little rub off the cool guy or the
Exactly.
legend and try and get that rub.
That cheap
and
pop,
Put
too,
it on
man.
him,
That
yeah.
cheap pop, the rub
Yeah.
and the cheap pop.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When Bryan was getting all those chants in Seattle, he fucking, what's the word I'm looking
Cena
for?
chimed in, improvised and chimed in.
Bryan, come here,
Exactly.
man. And he kissed his ass so that they would like him
Right.
too. Ric Flair's getting
Yeah.
all the legend love.
Yeah.
He
I
comes
see
out
that.
and saves him and kisses his ass too. Like, God, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. He was just extra gangster. He was in gang mode last night, man. I mean, there are times where he just goes way, way overboard. And last night I'm sitting there watching. Not me. Not me, bro. Yeah, it's just, man, last night was an example of the, I don't know what you call it, the what are you, DMX?
I said, word, dog.
Barking over there. All right, so let's, another segment I want to talk about, Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper.
My favorite of all time.
Favorite of all time,
Roddy
Roddy Piper. We're on good terms, man. Rowdy, hey.
He tweeted you.
He talked to me.
Yeah, he talked to
me. Roddy Piper and Jim Ross in 1 week, brother, on Twitter.
Not bad.
Not bad, huh?
But I had Rygal and Big Vito in the same week. So who's the fucking real Mac Daddy?
When did Rygal become a celebrity?
He's not. That's the point. That's about the most famous name I can think. Big Vito's one.
Big Vito and Rygal.
And then I'm thinking, who else could I guess Rygal would be the best.
Did you get Acer up in there? You get a tweet from Acer too?
Probably. I don't know.
You went back and forth with Matt Hardy and Reby Sky a couple of weeks ago, didn't you? Yeah. So what'd you think of Piper's Pit? I thought this was good. It was lagging, man. It was almost like there's something missing where Piper kept saying, well, Seth Rollins has lost to CM Punk and Dean Ambrose has lost to CM Punk. So if Roman Reigns defeats CM Punk in the main event tonight, they're talking about tension in the Shield.
Yeah.
If Roman Reigns,
Piper missed one of his lines. I didn't catch which one it was, but he supposedly missed an important line there in that. I heard that this morning. But and the other thing,
what'd you think of Flair? Let me go back to Flair real quick, bro. What'd you think of Flair last night saying you got both of these, and he's pointing to like both the belts, right? Yeah. And I'm thinking they don't want him to say that, man. He's the one champion, but he's still got both the belts, man.
You know what I heard about that?
Let me hear it.
Merchandise.
Yeah,
as long as there's two belts that people are buying, why are we gonna get rid of one of them? It'll be less fucking,
That's true, but it doesn't make any sense if you're gonna be WWE.
Obviously, I feel like they're gonna split them up again.
They're gonna split them at some point. They're gonna split them up. There's
gonna be a match. Not too long ago. I don't think we brought it up because it was 2 weeks ago. They did a WWE.com article about merging the US and the IC titles too.
The US and the IC, I remember that. And Dolph Ziggler, we'll get into it WrestleMania talk. They were going to have Dolph Ziggler take the title off Dean Ambrose. Dolph Ziggler was in for a push. So the concussion last night by Ryback at Raw for Superstars.
Yeah.
Dolph Ziggler was going to go into WrestleMania. According to the memo that was sent out to the creative team, they were going to do Dolph Ziggler as champion, as United States champion, against Sheamus, a returning Sheamus. And Sheamus may be back by the Royal Rumble.
He'll probably be in the Rumble.
Probably. But they were going to do Dolph Ziggler as champion against Sheamus at WrestleMania, and it was going to be the title. And then Sheamus was going to win it from. It all depends when Sheamus comes back.
I know you had the
Sheamus
heel face thing on there. Who was going to be the heel in the match? Ziggler?
Oh God, I'd have to go check.
Ziggler.
I think Ziggler was the heel.
Good, because I don't think
Ziggler
I think he's better suited as a heel. I don't like this babyface shit.
But you got to understand.
Too limited as a babyface.
He's going to have to pass the impact testing that he's going to have to go through. That's going to take. I mean, you would assume a couple of weeks before. We'll say a month before Ziggler's able to get back into a WWE ring.
Yeah,
and by
they
that
said
time,
it wasn't a mild concussion. They said it was worse than.
It was pretty severe. They just posted an update on WWE.com. Said that he was feeling better today, but he was still going to have to go through all the medical testing. I mean, let's say that he's out a month. You're getting close to WrestleMania by that point. So the whole Ziggler-Sheamus with Ziggler winning the title from Ambrose is probably off the cards now that Ziggler got injured. Yeah. Ziggler was in for a fairly big push with the title, and then a match at WrestleMania, and then that happens last night.
Yeah, they were gearing up to finally, after all this time, get behind him a little bit and give him something. And the whole reason he lost all that to begin with, mixture of things, being too mouthy in interviews, blah, 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 but a lot of it also was the fact that he was getting concussions. But, yeah.
Well, the other thing Ryback's funny too, dude, because Ryback was a guy that was being mouthy in interviews, and there was a lot of heat on him for that. And another reason there was heat, too outspoken, and another reason there was heat on him is due to the fact that he was sloppy in ring and he was reckless, man. Yeah. And then he goes out there and injures Dolph Ziggler last night, and not only that, but Ziggler just came back from a concussion, man. He just got back from a concussion.
It's funny too, because a lot of people compared Ryback to two people, Goldberg and Rob Van Dam, because of the singlet and all that shit. And RVD's big thing was they always held him back because his knack on him was he was too careless. He'll hurt people in the ring. Remember, he almost fucking crushed Triple H's windpipe at one time, and he had a bunch of other things. Yeah. But with Piper's Pit, the other thing I was going to say is everybody compares Dean Ambrose to Roddy Piper. I don't see it. Where do you get the connection between those two? Because they're both, like, asshole heels? Like, there's been a lot of asshole heels.
Maybe the voice a little. I mean, when they cut promos...
He does this thing where he sticks his fucking, like, the Miz, where he sticks his
but when they cut promos, you don't see it in the promos a little bit, man, where... No. I think Dean Ambrose is going to be a star for years to come in WWE, man.
Starting to think he's a little bit overrated.
Oh, are you serious? Ambrose? Wow, bro. Dude, I think Ambrose needs to go higher and higher and higher and higher.
He got it. I'm not saying he doesn't have it, but I was thinking he was like fucking mega main event level one day. I can't... The more he talks, I think he's a little more one-dimensional than I thought.
You know what? Let's talk about the main event then. But we had, it was Roman Reigns against CM Punk for the main event of Raw last night, right? And then, how about, Roman Reigns picked up the win. Actually did defeat CM Punk, hit the spear, so that...
Ambrose helped him. Distracted.
Right. But that's probably going to lead to an angle where, like Piper said in the Piper's Pit segment, hey, listen, the two of you guys lost. If Roman Reigns defeated CM Punk, is he better than you guys? So they're probably going to tie that in somewhere. But then, after it was over, how about this, man? A big surprise last night on Raw, because over the weekend, as of Saturday, Roberts had not been contacted to appear on Raw. And my thought, this is just me looking way too far into things, but Diamond Dallas Page on Raw last night. I mean, if I was DDP, I would have gone to WWE or Vince McMahon and say, hey, listen, man, Jake Roberts is doing awesome. He's doing great these days. I've seen it for myself. He wants to come back. He wants to be in the Rumble. He wants a second chance. And I can vouch for the fact that he's been staying at my house. This dude's in great shape.
Accountability crib.
If there's an opportunity to somehow bring him back or let him get a second chance, give it to him. And I just feel like that may have been part of the reason that Jake returned.
I'm sure he put in a word.
That DDP probably put in a word for him, and
Were you surprised when he came out?
I was very surprised.
Me too. I popped.
When the theme hit,
I popped.
When the theme hit, I had no idea who it was.
A lot of people seem to be like that. I can't believe nobody remembers that theme music.
But you didn't pop until I was listening to you in here.
I'm writing play-by-play. I wasn't paying attention. He said the thing about Lillian Garcia. I didn't hear that at all, and I'm listening the whole time.
See, I'm in there, and the music hit, and there was silence. I didn't hear anything. And then when he walked out through the curtain, I heard you go, oh, and I looked over at the TV.
I'm writing. I'll tell you exactly what I was doing. I'm writing. I hear music. I hear hear fucking commotion. I'm not even really paying attention to it, and I'm fucking look over, and then I see it, and I'm like, oh!
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, it was.
No,
well, he doesn't have one of those theme songs where
there's not a very big
the glass breaks in Austin. You know, it's Austin. Right. It's
something. Yeah.
It's it's like dun 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 dun. But I mean, give it up for Jake, man. He looks great, man.
It's weird to see him with short hair.
He's always got the thing, and I always thought, and maybe it's years of drug abuse, but he's always. You ever notice that? Like when he was walking in the ring last night, even when he was in the ring,
the cocaine lips.
He was licking his lips and shit. But he's always done that. But I mean, give it up for him, dude. The guy looked great on Raw last night. I mean, there was a time.
He looked sad for a long time.
Just last year, man, where he had the huge gut. And there was a time, I remember when he first entered DDP's accountability crib, where he couldn't even bend over. And last night he walked up the stairs, under the ropes, into the ring, man. He's made leaps and bounds. Feeling
surprised they didn't. I'm surprised he didn't answer to everybody was chanting for the DDT. They all wanted the DDT, and he didn't do it. I'm wondering if that's because he's not ready to take bumps.
Maybe he's not.
He doesn't want to take bumps, or is it just because, well, shit, they didn't tell me to, and I shouldn't. Maybe the first thing I do when I come back is like do what I'm told and not fucking break from script.
Well, you know what? He made a gesture as Ambrose is laying there. Punk hit the GTS on Ambrose, right? And he's laid out, and he takes the snake out of the bag, right? And then he did something. The camera cut away real quickly,
right? Put it
down
near his balls, I heard.
Put it down near his balls and, like, stroke the snake or something.
Oh, really? He did the jack off?
Right. And you hear somebody, I think it was CM Punk. He goes, "It's PG, Jake. It's PG." You didn't hear that?
No.
It was so audible on TV. He says, "It's PG, Jake. It's PG." I think it was Punk that said it.
Probably.
And then another thing is, I hate snakes, bro. I can't stand snakes, bro.
And it terrified me growing up. You put them on their face. And,
when he took the snake out of the bag, it seemed like the snake had curled around itself. And he was trying. You could see him trying to, like, let fucking go of the snake, trying to get the snake to stretch out a little bit, but it was all,
coiled up.
Oh, it was nasty. Bro. And then, God bless Dean Ambrose, bro. Dean Ambrose, listen, if I was in WWE and they say, hey, you're going to have to let this fucking python or whatever, that cobra snake, over the top of you.
Those were the two gimmicks back in the in the late 80s, early 90s, more late 80s, where there was two gimmicks that everybody didn't want to be part of. One was the snake with Jake Roberts, because that was the finish. He dumps your snake on you, and then he takes his face and, like, fucking rubs it in your face.
Oh, hell no.
The other
would you do it?
Fuck no. Well, for a lot of money, I would. Yeah.
Hell no. Even for like
it's a trained snake, and I mean
it's not gonna bite you, bro. But if you were there,
I'd have a heart attack from my shit beating so fast.
I'm sitting there.
There's been times in Florida. I remember I'd be walking to the store. There's this trail. We would go behind the apartment. There's this little trail, and it would save you like fucking 3 blocks of walking.
Yeah.
So I'd always do the trail, and there's just this little fucking like this much space up the trail. It's through a bunch of bushes.
Right. And you never know.
When you get to the top, there's this fucking snake this one time, and you have to step over it or turn and go back.
Hell no.
Walk all the way around. So I stepped over it. And then there's this long stretch. So as soon as I stepped over it, the whole way I'm looking behind me like, yo, is he fucking
Remember Suzanne's house down there? Remember Susie's house, bro?
A friend of mine, Suzanne, right in front of her front door, like it was his pet.
A big fucker too. Not a little baby. If it's a little baby, whatever. It looked like a little worm. Scoot out of here. This thing was a big motherfucker, bro. Oh, it was nasty.
But the other guy in the 80s was Brutus the Barber Beefcake. You remember what his thing was?
The barber, the haircut.
Cut your fucking hair.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I know.
Fuck that, man.
Hell no.
I mean, if you're building it up as a big money match at a pay-per-view, he just beat you and cut your hair.
Did you see the look on Ambrose's face as the snake, as the head is like right over the top of his face? And he's got like this smirk on his face, dude. And I'm thinking, Ambrose is probably laying there thinking, please don't fucking bite me. Please don't bite me. Or he's just tensed up like, get it, fuck off me. Get it off me. I couldn't do it, man.
I can always picture it was Deep and Lanny Poffo, Randy Savage's brother. I think that's who Jake Roberts debuted against when he first came to WWF. It was in Madison Square Garden. He did the snake, put it on his face, and lifted his hair up. Like he picked fucking Lanny Poffo up by his hair, and he's like putting the fucking snake in his mouth.
Oh, dude!
I can just remember seeing him like grimacing, like, "Oh God, hurry up, get it over." And they got to sell They can't be like, stop. They gotta be like out still, and like, trying to like motion his ear. So imagine that they're putting a snake on you, and not only do you have to deal with that, but you gotta keep a straight face. You're not allowed to fucking
that, dude. Hell no. And then Jake, the show goes off the air, right? And Jake's like face to face with the snake,
licking him,
and the snake's fucking got its tongue back and forth, and Jake's basically French kissing the snake.
Well, I think he stuck his tongue out.
Fucking thing, dude. I had to turn away from the TV last night. I said, I can't. That's
the other thing. When I watched the Jake Roberts DVD, that's one of my favorite documentary DVDs that I watched, and he talks about he had a fear of snakes growing up. And he was always willing to do it for money.
Who's this?
Jake Roberts.
Oh,
he had a fear of snakes.
Did he?
So it's weird that he's so
really.
But yeah, he's been arrested for animal cruelty for shit in UK and stuff for the snake incidents and stuff. But you hear the guys in the documentary telling stories about how they didn't want to share a hotel with him because you'd have to put it in the bathtub and fill it with water so it stays moist. And sometimes they'd wake up and they couldn't find it. And I remember $1 Million Man said, "Could you fucking imagine that, waking up and you can't find
it?
You know there's a snake in your room and you can't find it."
Jesus!
And they would get like coiled up in the bed springs of the fucking mattress, and you have to cut them out and shit.
Dude, no.
Fucking that, man.
I wouldn't do it, man. I'm sorry, I can't get near a snake, man. It's one of the fears I got. I got a fear of heights, and I got a fear of snakes.
You have a fear of heights?
I'm scared shitless of heights. You're not afraid of heights?
No.
Oh my god, dude.
Fuck
Jesus, no way, man, no way. So anyway, what else?
I'll give Robbie, a.k.a. Crazy Rob. I don't like spiders either.
Spiders? See, I'm not afraid of spiders.
I'm not afraid of them. I don't like them.
I can let a spider walk on my arm and whatnot. No. That's not a problem.
I'm not afraid of them. Like, if I saw one right now, I wouldn't. If I saw a snake right there right now.
Hell no.
Jeez, I'd be up here, like this. A spider, I'd be like, oh, man, I gotta fucking kill it. I hope I get it and he doesn't fall and crawl away. And then I know that he's in here and I can't fucking go to sleep because I know he's gonna crawl in my face when I'm sleeping or something.
What else happened on Raw? This is a high point. I mean, we only got a couple minutes.
It was a backstage segment where Langston walked by and all they did was $1 Million Man.
What a waste.
And Nikolai Volkov, they just had them all do their thing. Like Nikolai sing the Russian national anthem, $1 Million Man, Arwen Shyster each did their catchphrases, and that was it.
I think Mae Young.
Other backstage segment was DDP, Booker T doing yoga, Ron Simmons walks in. Damn!
I thought the Gene Okerlund
pretty
thing.
Good, I think, actually.
That was good. Do it again?
I can't think I can do it again. Damn!
Not bad, bro. Gene Okerlund, that was funny, dude, where he did the hotline thing.
Nobody seemed to get it, though.
Nobody did seem to get it, man. The crowd was dead during it. That's the second time tonight.
The other one this time, yeah.
But nobody seemed to get that. Mean Gene back in the day.
I feel like we're forgetting something. Too Cool.
Too Cool came
out.
No
Stink Face. PG.
PG.
Can't rub his ass in someone's face.
Yep.
Song, but
Kelly did it not all that long ago, right? Didn't she? When she was in WWE, she used to do the Stink Face finisher.
Mm-hmm. Was it the Bronco Buster or was it the fucking Stink Face, ass in the face?
I don't remember.
I
guess it was. Yeah, you're right. It was the Bronco.
Gotta be some other ones, man.
No, there wasn't that many. It was Too Cool, like you said. The crowd was kind of dead for that. The Godfather was there. He didn't come out until the very main event segment. They had all the legends on stage, and basically most of them, like you said, were in that backstage segment where they kind of wasted them. Mae Young was originally booked for the show. They were going to bring her in.
Sergeant Slaughter was the special referee.
Sergeant Slaughter, they voted him in. Bob Backlund.
He had to dance around with Rajin Singh or whatever, who was back. That guy's a writer for WWE?
He used to be a writer for WWE.
I heard he still is.
Is he still a writer?
That's what I heard, yeah.
That was only a one-time deal when he was back on
writer.
TV. He was back for the one night only. We put that up on the website.
Yeah, there was Slaughter, Backlund, and Anderson. Arn Anderson were the options for the referee.
Arn Anderson's an agent for WWE. Yeah. Sergeant Slaughter's an agent for WWE. So they're there all the time anyways. But they voted in Slaughter. That was about it. They didn't have the Brooklyn Brawler. They didn't have him last night on Raw. I was kind of surprised. But that was about it, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, they did the Brock Lesnar segment too, where he broke Henry's arm, and then Big Show threw him around, setting up the Royal Rumble match with those two.
It was cool to see Jake Roberts. I didn't see that coming because as of Saturday, Jake hadn't been contacted by WWE. So we know that was a very last minute decision. Could have even happened.
Like Piper and fucking Jake.
I think old school though. I want Rock. I want Austin. I want Jake the Snake. I want
old school Rock and Austin.
Yeah, sure they are.
Maybe by now they're old school to like this generation.
If they're calling Too Cool old school.
Yeah,
man.
I don't agree they're old school
I mean?
either, to be honest with you. I don't think they're old school, but I can understand why.
DDP's old school. He's way back in the day, WCW. I could see that.
Kinda.
Booker T is new school, old school, pretty much new school for Booker T.
He's been around for a long time, too.
What was his name? IRS was there last night.
Oh, dude, he's been around forever.
He's been around for a long time.
He was in, the very first WrestleMania. He had the
was it Koloff?
Nikolai Volkov.
Yeah, he was on there last night. So, I mean, he's an old schooler for sure.
Yeah.
You know? But, I mean, that was about it on Raw.
No Iron Sheik, no Honky Tonk Man, no Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan, I was thinking was going to be there.
A lot of guys that could have been.
a lot of guys that, they left out. Edge wasn't available to do it. Jim Ross, they left out. Shawn Michaels wasn't there.
Yeah.
No Brett last night. You're right.
Those guys aren't so rare, so it's kind of not like...
That's true. That's true. But it's
and
like
Batista was officially entered into the Royal Rumble.
And Del Rio well. Del Rio called out Batista.
Yeah, so he's going to eliminate him and beat his ass.
Right.
Kane and Rob Maddox had their thing, and so it looks like we're starting to get a tease of Kane returning as a wrestler.
Right.
That's about it.
That was about it. I think there was so much news in our numero dos, man, and... we skipped over last week because of the New Year's Eve holiday. Well, not really a holiday, but New Year's Eve, so we skipped over it. So, how about this, guys? Rapid Fire, we'll have that return next week, and live phone calls as well. I mean, if you want to call in hour number 2, you guys can go ahead and call. But Rapid Fire, I know you guys love that segment, and when we do it every week, and a lot of times we rush through it. It's just, if we put it up tonight, we're going to have to rush through it with all the news that we have, coming up. So, speaking of... the news that we need to talk about, brother. There is a lot of it, man. So this is what we're going to talk about in our numero dos.
Are we really going to run all these down?
We'll run down the couple of them. Pick a couple.
Okay, go ahead. Start it off.
UFC. We're going to talk UFC. What's going on there?
Definitely going to talk about UFC 168 from a couple weekends ago. Anderson Silva's, we'll just talk about all that stuff.
Big announcement coming tomorrow, the WWE Network. What's the plan for that? I'll let you guys know coming up in a couple of minutes.
A lot of health updates. We'll give you a little bit more about Jerry Lawler. We'll give you more on Mae Young. We got some injury stuff. Brock Lesnar, Cody Rhodes, Dolph Ziggler. A lot of guys banged up right now. We'll give you the lowdown on all that now.
Mae Young, Jerry Lawler, health updates. Like you said, man, we're also going to talk Ric Flair, NFL drama. San Francisco 49ers, Carolina Panthers. Panthers seem kind of pissed off at old Rick, man. WrestleMania 30 as well, brother. We're going to talk about all the rumored matches. What's going on there?
Maybe Piper wrestling.
Hogan as well, man. A lot of stuff.
Jarrett resigned from TNA, and looks like the sumbitch, and I forgot to put the music on the loop. Looks like the sumbitch is starting up his own promotion, so we'll tell you about that. Whole bunch of other stuff. Tito Ortiz, DUI, a lot of shit going on.
A lot of stuff coming up. So we'll come back. We'll talk about it all in our numero dos. You're listening to WZR TV Tuesdays with Matt Boone and Ryan Clark. We'll be back right after this.
I'm going to be taking over. Oh, and he's back from the dead. There he is.
Here we are. Hour number 2 here on WZR TV. So like I said, man, we're going to skip over the rapid fire segment tonight. We're going to return with that next week. If you guys want to call up, I know it's not going to be good, man. When we don't do rapid fire, they get angry, man. They get very angry, man. We got so much news and rumors that we want to talk about for the next hour. It'll give us more time to elaborate on some of the big news that has happened over the course of the past week. We'll also take live phone calls too. So if you're not afraid to call up, we don't bite. He does, but not me.
I can't bite him.
You can't bite him. You can yell at him, but you can't bite him.
Yeah, I could yell.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to be talking news and rumors. I want to give you some time because we always forget about it. UFC, man, there's been some pretty big and interesting news. UFC over the past 2 weeks. I guess we'll start with Anderson Silva, my man. Anderson Silva. I'm going to go turn that down.
I'm going to be distracted.
Anderson Silva.
UFC 168 was the final pay-per-view from the UFC in 2013. The main event, everybody knows, was Anderson Silva, Chris Weidman, the rematch from the first fight where Weidman knocked Silva out. A lot of people thought it was a fluke because Silva was goofing around doing his showboating bullshit, Muhammad Ali, Roy Jones crap that he does. And so Weidman knocked him out. So this was the rematch. This was basically going to answer the question: was the first fight a fluke? It didn't answer that question at all. In fact, you could say this was even more of a fluke, and it absolutely was more of a fluke. So basically,
Weidman was doing okay, though.
More than okay. He was kicking his ass.
Right.
Yeah, he dominated the first round, but he did that in the first fight, too, and still nobody gave him credit. All Silva would have got him in the later round. He always does that.
Right.
First of all, no, he doesn't. But anyways, Weidman was kicking his ass this fight. Second round is when it happened, I think?
Second round.
Silva goes to throw a leg kick, and I guess it was part of the camp of Weidman. Their plan was to check the leg kicks with the knee. Basically just means raising your leg up. He goes to kick you, raise your leg up, and then instead of shin on thigh, where it's his shin against your thigh, bone on flesh, it's bone on bone, and he was checking him with the knee instead of his own shin.
You know Silva's going to come out and kick, man. I mean, that's part of his game.
That's the only thing that was really working in the first fight with him.
Right.
He kind of started to make him look like an asshole right before he knocked him out with the leg kicks. He was tearing him up.
Right.
So he was checking the leg kicks with the knee, and I guess there was 2 kicks he threw. One where it broke, but then nobody saw it. And then the second kick is where it fucking broke in half. Like, it was bad.
Dude, it snapped in half. It was the most gruesome thing.
It was up there.
Oh, my God.
I mean, the Corey Hill one was worse in UFC.
It was
same
just
thing
hanging there. It was.
Yeah. Same thing happened to Corey Hill. It was worse. Sid's was the most grotesque fucking example I've ever seen. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I remember that one.
I think it was WCW. I want to say Greed was the
came
name of
off the top rope or the middle rope. Yeah, middle rope.
Yeah,
oh my
him
God.
and Benoit.
Was it Benoit?
I think. Or Steiner. It was him and Scott Steiner. Yeah, because Steiner used to talk about it in promos. He ends careers and shit. But yeah, it was just a gruesome break from Silva. And obviously the fight was over right then and there. So Weidman gets no credit now. He's beaten him twice. Both fights. Everybody says, oh, it was bullshit. He got lucky the first time.
Now, what's the deal? Silva says he's coming back, man, or his management team says that.
Management wants him to come back, and they say they want him to fight I keep wanting to say GSP when he gets back.
GSP, right.
But no, yeah, they want him to fight GSP, who's retired right now, so it doesn't make any fucking sense. But I guess that's a fight they want.
But it's good news that he's going to be able to return. I mean, when I first saw it, I said, man, that may be career-ending.
It is. It's career ending. I mean, the doctors say in 6 to 9 months he could go back to fully training, this and that, blah, 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 blah. He says he's probably going to come back.
Can you imagine? I mean, I know that, you know, you're in the heat of the moment, and what's the word I'm looking for? Adrenaline. Where your adrenaline's rushing.
He was screaming like a girl, supposedly.
Was he?
That's what everybody that was at ringside. They said they've never heard somebody scream so loud.
Dude, that's gotta hurt.
Backstage, he was supposedly screaming his fucking lungs.
Oh, dude, yeah. I wouldn't blame him, man.
No, me neither.
My God.
Looked a little. That's more than a boo boo. That looked like it hurt a little bit.
Yeah, that was bad. So good luck to him getting back on his feet. Pun intended.
There you go. So the next fight will be Weidman and Vitor Belfort. They're gonna do that in Vegas.
That'll be a great fight. I'm going Vitor too.
Weidman's a little fucked up too, I think. So it's gonna be a couple months before we see that fight.
Yeah, I'm going Vitor. I'll bet you.
I don't know. I mean, I'll take Weidman, yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised at all. I think it's a very close fight. Co-main event that night was Ronda Rousey, Miesha Tate. Their second fight as well. Up until this point, Ronda Rousey had won every single fight by armbar in the first round. This was the first time she was taken into somewhat deep waters.
It's a good fight.
Close to good fight. Almost 3 full rounds, and then she got her with the armbar anyway, and made her tap. Miesha escaped an armbar earlier in the fight. The big story there was when the fight was over, Miesha went to shake her hand, and Ronda Rousey just fucking walked away. You know, and it goes back to, you know, something happened. I didn't see it, but Tate said something about Rousey's family in the build-up to the fight. And then after it was over, I mean, you know the story with Ronda Rousey's dad? No, I don't. He committed suicide. Oh, did he? And supposedly she said something, or her boyfriend, Brian Caraway, said something. I forget which. But somebody said something about her dad, and that's just a no-no. So. It was just, the fight was over. There was so much hype going into the fight. It was easily the most promoted, heavily promoted women's fight ever in MMA. I just feel like, you know, there are things said in the heat of the moment by Miesha Tate and Ronda Rousey. I mean, Rousey said some pretty nasty shit as well. Yeah. You know, and things are said that, you know, maybe after you say it, you think back and you say, man, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have gone there. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. After the fight was over, I mean, listen, it's over.
They had a war. It was the most heavily promoted women's fight ever in the history of MMA. Shake the woman's hand, man. Shake her hand.
Well, a lot of times they say, you leave it all in the octagon, too. And then once it's all done, you have to respect your opponent. But it just proves, because a lot of times people just say shit in the build-up to promote the fight. They don't really hate the person.
And they can't stand each other.
They try and, no, they like each other.
Well, I'm saying
they don't. Yeah, exactly. They don't hate each other, but they'll pretend like they do to drum up interest, make more money.
Happens all the time.
That proves that this one was not.
That was not scripted.
Those chicks hate each other.
Right, exactly.
But so and then Josh Barnett got fucking trashed by Travis Brown.
Crowd booed the shit out of Rousey, by the way, for not shaking.
Fucking booed the hell out of her. Yeah.
Yeah,
but and the other fight with was Josh Barnett getting beat the hell out of him by Travis Brown. So Brown's a legit contender now. So that'll be interesting to see what they do with him.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much the main fights. UFC 168. They're saying that might be $1 million by show.
You think so? Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it.
It was the second largest live gate they ever did in Nevada.
They were all over SportsCenter with that too, bro. With the hype and everything else.
It was everywhere. Ronda Rousey gets a different level of media.
She does. She really does.
More than even like GSP and people like even. I'd say there's people who say she gets even more coverage than Brock did because she's a woman and she's got the looks. And different magazines will cover her than they would cover a Brock or a GSP. So she's a big dish. She might be, with Silva and GSP retiring, she might be the biggest star in the company.
The biggest star in UFC, right? I wouldn't doubt it, man. I wouldn't doubt it. Right before UFC 168 went live, they held a press conference in the afternoon announcing the UFC network. It's funny, they beat WWE Fight Pass, right? They beat WWE to the punch by a week or two, right?
Well, they came up with the idea.
Right.
Well, no, WWE had been talking. I don't know who really came up with it first, but they launched it first.
They launched it first, man.
So
they got it.
And they've done their first event on there too.
Have they already?
There was a UFC in Singapore last Wednesday. Tarek Safferty.
That was on the network. I thought that aired on. No,
it was network.
Wow.
You had to watch Fight Fest. It was in Singapore, and it was Tarek Safferty main event. It was the UFC debut of Tetsuya Kawajiri, a guy from Pride. It was a big deal. Shit card. Nobody cared.
Was that the main event? Because I heard the main event was really good.
Tarek Safferty was the main event.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard that was
supposedly really good. I still haven't seen any of those fights.
I haven't seen it either.
Didn't care about them enough to watch it. But apparently there's a lot of bugs and issues with it already. The Fight Pass. It's not a very good product. They don't even have clearance on like Xbox 360 and shit like that yet. Or what was the other main one? There was another main one.
Yeah, you gotta give WWE credit. Everybody's saying, "What about this WWE network?" I mean, every time
they wait until they do it right. Yeah.
They do the investor, the conference call and the shareholders and everybody else, and they've been begging Vince McMahon, give us some sort of update on the WWE network. They say the next conference call, the next quarter, the next quarter, and now finally tomorrow night we're about to.
They're using it for two different things too. WWE's using it to showcase a lot of old content, which UFC does too, but they're also showcasing original content, which UFC is too. But UFC's whole purpose of doing this mainly is because they're scheduled to do this big global expansion this year in 2014. They're hitting events in China and fucking Russia and all these weird places that, because of the time difference, it's really hard.
Put it on pay-per-view.
They want to suit it when they go to the foreign market. They want to suit it for the foreign market, so when it airs during their live fucking cable hours, and not at a weird time for them, so that it airs live here.
So it makes sense.
They make the Fight Pass available, and you can watch it whenever the fuck you want, as soon as it happens, or at your leisure, on demand, whatever the fuck. So it's two kind of different products. It's apples and oranges. They're both fruit, but it's both, it's apples and oranges.
I like it.
Other big thing was Dominic Cruz was stripped. This just happened yesterday. Dana White went on ESPN News, made the announcement. They're stripping him of the bantamweight title. He was scheduled after 2 years of being on the shelf. He had a leg thing, and then he got better, and then it happened again. So he had 2 different leg surgeries. And the entire time they refused to strip him. They crowned an interim champion, Renan Barão.
Right.
But they refused to strip him. He was still the champ. They didn't want to take the title off of him. Finally, Dana, after this happened, they had the fight scheduled. It was going to be Cruz versus Renan Barão, unify the titles. Finally, after 2 years, he gets injured during the build-up to the fight.
Really?
Dana White said, "Hey, man, I'm sorry.
We can't.
We got enough." Actually, Dominic Cruz, I think, supposedly vacated the title, like voluntarily said, "Fuck it," But
that's the right call too. If you're injured once, injured twice,
it holds the whole division up. These guys can't be the champion. But so the fight now will be Uriah Faber versus Renan Barão for the title. Super Bowl weekend. That'll be the main event.
That'll be a good fight. That'll be a great fight.
They fought before, and Barão just trashed him.
Uriah Faber, Super Bowl weekend, Las Vegas. That'll be.
No, not Las Vegas.
Not Vegas.
That's somewhere in New Jersey or so. They're trying to do it near the Super Bowl.
I thought they always did.
They usually did, but yeah, this time they're doing it right in that same market to try and get the press from the Super Bowl, the local media coverage.
That works.
And stuff. But
plus everybody in town. Not that it wouldn't have sold out Super Bowl weekend in Vegas, anyways, but makes sense to do it. Close to the Super Bowl.
Pretty much the MMA shit worth talking about right now.
Tomorrow night, 9:30 Eastern Time, WZROnline.com. They're streaming an announcement. You're going to have The Rock, I believe. Steve Austin's going to be there. Shawn Michaels is going to be there. Bret Hart's going to be there. All these legends from the past and current stars, John Cena, people like that, are going to be there. Vince is going to make the announcement. We've confirmed it is the WWE Network.
Well, they confirmed it today.
They accidentally leaked it out for a very brief period. I think it was yesterday on WWE's corporate website. They put it up. It was very quickly taken down, but they revealed that it was the network. Not that you guys didn't already know that. We've been putting it up for
I heard
months.
they put an actual release out today saying it's going to be the network.
They put a press release out earlier today that said that there was an announcement at 9:30 tomorrow, and then on their corporate website, they accidentally spoiled it and said, hey, come to our, as far as the media, they sent out a media release and said, come to our media event tomorrow for the WWE Network. All media invited for our WWE Network announcement tomorrow. Whoops. And then when they realized, whoops.
So that's Batista and the network that they have screwed up now.
They've screwed up two of them, man. Yeah. Two big ones. Two biggies. So 9:30 Eastern tomorrow. The thing is, it's still a big deal as we don't have the details.
We don't know shit. We know exactly what we already knew. It's going to be about the network.
Is it going to air on YouTube? Is it going to be a premium subscription where you can order it on your television? We don't know that.
No, it's not going to be TV anymore, I don't think. It's going to be more digital.
We think that it's going to be digitally, internet type based, where
like Netflix,
YouTube, right. But
there was phones on the Xbox, PlayStation.
And they may start with that, but the original plan was to have it actual, like Oprah Winfrey launched her own network, and you flip through the channels and hey, there's the WWE Network. So did they go that route, or are they going to take a different route?
I heard the reason they want to do it digital so that they don't have to A, cut in a cable company on the money, and B, they can control the content. They don't have to deal with other outside forces and shit. But either way, it's a big fucking step, man.
Speaking of content,
what's going to be available? We don't know what's going to be available pay-per-view wise. We don't know the price point. How much is it going to cost?
Right. This is going to be
this is what we're tuning in to
all
find
the
out.
Details are going to be revealed tomorrow. They've kept it a very big secret up until this point. So hopefully we'll get some details. Well, we will get the details tomorrow, 9:30 Eastern Time. It's going to be streamed on WWE.com.
This time right here, right now? This time tomorrow.
This time, right here, right now.
24 hours.
Chris Benoit, there's talk, my brother, that Chris Benoit footage, the Chris Benoit footage may air on.
You don't want to get me started on this, man. I got into it with your Facebook people about this topic.
I went back.
It turned into like 150 replies.
No, I went back the next morning and there was about 300 and something comments, man. And they were still going the next morning.
A lot of people weren't happy with me.
There's talk of they are going to air Chris Benoit footage on the WWE Network. And they're going to air a little scroll thing across the bottom that says, Chris Benoit footage is going to air here. You guys all know what happened. He was involved in a murder-suicide. You don't agree with it? Or you do agree with it? You agree with it?
I don't give a shit. Listen, it's like the jokes earlier about Lily and AJ, this stuff like that. I'm the wrong person to ask this stuff because, A, I don't care about a lot of things. I just don't care.
I know you don't.
Don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck if they do it. A, that's A. I don't, like, from that perspective, I don't, no, I'm getting somewhere there.
Right.
A, I don't give a, who gives a fuck? That's how I look at everything. Pretty much everything. B, WWE, I could see if they were doing a compilation of Benoit matches and putting out a Benoit DVD and profiting off of Benoit.
Right.
They're not doing anything to profit off Benoit. They're just not forcing themselves to not be able to tell a big chapter of their history. The guy won a Royal Rumble. If you want to do like Royal Rumble history, you got to skip one because he happened to win one. The guy won a fucking world title at a WrestleMania main event. You got to skip that? You got to skip that part of your history because this cocksucker went out and killed somebody?
Right.
That's bullshit.
No, I get it.
I warn people.
Hey, listen.
Those people don't have to watch. But
I agree completely, man. If you throw a warning up, and you say, listen, Chris Benoit footage is going to air here. We all know a real life incident did happen, but to edit out everything that he's ever done in WWE. It's just, if you put up a disclaimer that says Chris Benoit, the following show is going to contain footage featuring Chris Benoit, I don't have a problem with it, man. But and like you said, you're not releasing a full DVD with
you're not
nothing
going out
but
of your
Benoit.
way. Here's what it is. They're not going out of their way to show Chris Benoit anything.
No,
what they're doing is they're not forcing themselves to censor parts of their history. Like the example I gave, if they want to do a history of the Royal Rumble winners, they don't have to. Oh wait, Benoit's in this one. We can't show it.
You're gonna have let's say they're gonna feature a 3-hour pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
Out of that 3-hour pay-per-view, a 20-minute match involves Benoit. You know what I mean, dude? It's not like you said, dude. It's exactly like you said.
The guy was there for what? I'd say 7-8 years.
Right, but
so you're looking at 7-8 years worth of pay-per-views you can't show, TV shows you can't show because he's in.
Well, you can show him. You would just have to edit that out. It's a lot of work.
He was a champion for a while, so you're skipping main events.
If it bothers you, if it bothers you that much, right? If it bothers you that much, when you see the disclaimer that, hey, Chris Benoit, a match involving Chris Benoit, or some sort of segment involving Chris Benoit is coming up, walk away from the TV, walk away from your computer, wherever they're going to launch this, and come back after it's over, man. If it bothers you that much, but I agree completely, man. I mean, if it was a DVD, I agree completely. Where you're going to profit off nothing but Benoit footage, and you're going to profit, and you're going to make money, you're going to put that. No way. That's a fucked up thing to do, man. But as far as, if you're going to watch a pay-per-view, a 3-hour pay-per-view, it's only one match involving Benoit. They put the warning up. I don't have a problem with it at all.
Everybody seemed to think that I was like, one guy, I forget what his name was. I wish I remembered it, but I can't remember it. He said he thought I didn't care because I don't care about things. I didn't care about it. I was like, he says, you're going to think you probably don't care, but I've lost respect for you. And I used to like you. I respected your opinion, but I just lost respect
Everybody's,
for you.
See,
what
if
the
you
fuck did I do?
Listen, an opinion is an opinion. They're like assholes, right? Everybody's got one. That's the saying, right? Well, everybody's got an asshole.
No, I hate when people do the cliches that's been said 1 billion times.
All right, but listen, it's everybody. It's one of the
apple a day will keep the doctor. Shut the fuck up. Come up with something new.
Feeling froggy?
Yeah.
You feeling froggy? Leave. Jump. Alright, let's move on, man. It's WWE Network announcement, 9:30 Eastern tomorrow. It's going to stream on WWE.com. Mae Young, some sad news about Mae Young.
Pretty much told that. I mean, we can get to the specifics. Yeah, her kidney failed on her.
It's in the process of failing.
Yeah, well, okay, whatever. But she's on they got a machine breathing for her.
Yeah,
she's in hospice care, like you said. It's just not looking good, man.
She's hooked up to an oxygen tank. She was hospitalized. They sent her back home. She's under constant care. That's what hospice is. A lot of people that are under hospice care only live for 6 months.
They're basically in the hospital at home. That's what hospice care is.
That's what it is. Yeah. She's breathing. A couple of people that went and visited her said that she was alert and she was able to talk. Yeah. It was just that.
She's 90 years old?
They say
I've heard
90.
93 and I've heard 90.
Some people close to her believe she's 94.
I've heard 93 and 90, yeah.
Yeah, I heard 94, but
anyway,
it's not that it matters. Yeah, she's over 90.
I really want. She always had that dream of wrestling a match when she was 100. She's so goddamn close to doing it.
She's so close, man. And not only that, but it was, she was booked for the old school Raw, so it seems like.
And she loves that stuff. She can see in her face how much fun she's having.
Yeah.
She's willing to do anything.
In recent
give birth
months,
to a hand.
I think, they wanted her for the old school Raw, so I'm thinking just in recent weeks, things have really taken a turn for the worse. Yeah. And
remember the story?
Best of luck to her, man.
I like to look at the positive. I'm looking back. I'm thinking of all memories of Mae Young I love. Fucking being willing, and she had to be in her late 70s, early 80s at this point. The Dudley Boys would put her through fucking tables off the top rope.
They did it twice. They did it twice. It was crazy,
and
man.
The other one, I think I've told it on here before. It was a famous rib that they played on Eric Bischoff.
Right.
The Bronco Buster was popular at the time, so Michael Hayes and Fabulous Moolah.
They did something. You've told this before, right? They put something in her panties.
She's gonna have panties, and she's gonna do the Bronco Buster to Eric Bischoff. That's the spot. So they decide to fuck with Bischoff, and they stuff a bunch of sardines down in her fucking crotch.
Yeah, it was.
And then they have her do the Bronco Buster.
Dude,
and the story was that Hayes is like, "Come on, Mae, come on, we're waiting for you out here. We're ready. It's live. Come on, get out there." Right. Michael Hayes says Fabulous Moolah opened the door and said, "Hold on, sweetie, she's still putting the sardines in her crotch."
Are you serious?
Yeah. So that was the story on that one. But yeah,
that's awesome.
She was down for anything. She gave birth to a hen. Had the thing
She
with Mark
was.
Henry.
She
that
was one of those, man. I mean,
doing anything.
Way
She's
back
been
in the
around
day.
since fucking the turn of the
She
like
was a
1902.
pioneer, bro.
And
She
shit.
was a pioneer back in the day.
Maybe not 1902, but like the 20s. She was around.
Yeah,
she was
a pioneer back in the day. So hopefully, everything works out. But people are saying that it's.
Do you think she'll get out of this, or she'll kick out at 2.5?
A lot of people are saying it's just a matter of time, but hopefully not.
I'm hoping it's a fucking false finish.
She is a
2.5. Shoulder comes up.
Yo, she's a tough son of a gun, man. You gotta give it up for her. Speaking of health, Jerry Lawler, man. Jerry Lawler, we ran this down.
The entire story.
Yeah, the entire story. We didn't talk about that. He's fine.
He'll probably be back next week.
Right. WWE.com has a backstage interview with him up last night at Old School Raw.
I will say,
he looks fine.
It is concerning that a guy that never drank, never smoked, never did drugs. He's famous for that. Never smoked, never drank, never did drugs, ever. And he has a heart attack, and now he's having this, whatever this is. Maybe let's just hope it's like a flu or a stomach virus or something. But still, it just makes you nervous. Like,
and he's still gonna go out there. He's still wrestling too, man. He won't hang it up.
Very limited.
He won't hang it up. Let's see. Sin Cara, we talk about this all the time. I mean, Mystico came over. They had high expectations for him at first.
Yeah.
He comes over, and you guys know the original Sin Cara was botch after botch after botch. He would fuck something up in every match. There's some problems with him backstage. His contract is expiring in the next couple of weeks, and they are not going to be re-signing him. I don't know if they're going to announce it on WWE.com. Be interesting to see how they go about that, as the character itself, Unico, who has been playing the character over the past couple of weeks on
Maybe
Raw.
they say his real name.
They may say his real name. That's what I was thinking, or refer to him as Mystico or something like that. But they are not going to renew his contract with
what is his
WWE.
I can't think of his real name.
I don't know the real name.
I was going to say it, like blah blah blah, and I can't even do the
Dos
blah, blah,
Caras?
No.
Wasn't he related to one of them?
No, Del Rio's related to Dos Caras.
All right, no doubt.
Because he actually fought in Pride at
Del
Rio
right,
as Dos Caras Jr.
Yeah.
Fought Mirko Crow Cop with a fucking wrestling mask on.
His father's got the. His father's a Mexican legend, right?
Who?
Del Rio.
Yeah, Dos Caras.
Dos Caras?
Yeah, Dos Caras.
But they're not related. He's not in any way. And no, because I remember they had the big fight. The guns were pulled and everything else, right? Del Rio and Mystico.
And the beginning of it, the Sin Cara as a character on TV, the Mystico version, was a match with Del Rio where he fucking dislocated his finger and quit.
Right.
In the middle of the match.
Well, that pissed off.
That was like a week after Del Rio got the shit beat out of him at a bar.
Right. Yeah, remember him and Drew McIntyre, right? Yeah.
So Del Rio fought through that, had a 45-minute match at the pay-per-view the night after it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Then the night after that was Raw, and that's when Sin Cara, I believe it was that night, like the very next night, like 2 nights after Del Rio got this shit beat out of him. He's still working just fine.
And he comes out and Sin Cara
gets a boo-boo and says, I'm done.
So they are not going to renew. The character itself, though, Unico, is going to continue to play Sin Cara. The reason for that is the merchandise sales.
Yeah, and they were giving that character a push, and then last night they just jobbed the shit out of him to Del Rio as if he was nothing.
Well, we've said, not only that, dude, but how many times are we going to see Del Rio versus Sin Cara?
Yeah.
Right? How many times?
Well, that's the other thing. With Damien Sandow, he became the gimmick guy. He's the fan's choice guy on Raw every week. It was Dolph Ziggler every week in a gimmick match. The fucking Broadway whatever, the Hamptons whatever. And now it's 2 weeks in a row against the Great Khali where the fans
Hampton, Virginia?
No.
Oh, okay.
Hampton, New York. Long Island.
Right.
But no,
2 weeks in a row,
2 weeks in a row with the Great Khali, and they both had the bullshit finish. Khali got the shoulder up last night. Sandow had the foot on the rope. So we're getting it again next week.
Yep.
Big rubber match. Everybody's dying for the tiebreaker.
Yeah, it is. He's kind of you're right,
dude.
He's
the jobber, fans' choice, WWE app guy of the week now.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
But like I said, dude, it's the masks that sell for WWE. All the kids are buying the Mysterio.
I was talking about Sandow, but yeah.
Right. No, I get it. But the reason that Sin Cara is going to be sticking around, despite the real Sin Cara is basically going to be going from WWE. They're not going to renew his contract, but they're going to keep the character around for the masks and the merchandise and everything else.
The real Sin Cara.
Here's one for you. Check this out.
Guy's made up. Yeah.
Check this out. The original Sin Cara.
There you go.
Is that better? All right. Ric Flair, right? So check this out. Ric Flair, Charlotte, North Carolina. Everybody knows Ric Flair is a Carolina boy, man. He's
Greensboro, Charlotte, yeah.
So the Carolina Panthers come out, NFL.com. They interview a bunch of the players, and they say, we want Ric Flair on our sidelines for our playoff game.
Before he did the Niners speech, yeah.
Right. Now, Carolina had a bye week this past week, right?
But they're in the playoffs, right?
They're in the playoffs, right? But they didn't have now check this out. Check this out. So the wild card games.
Oh, they're gonna play the winner of that.
Check this out. So the wild card games take place.
What did you do?
The wild card games take place this weekend.
Yeah.
And after NFL.com, they were that good that they didn't have to get in via a wild card.
They won their division.
So they win their division, and they get in and they sit out the first week. The wild card people, they got to play. They got to play to get in. All right.
Yeah.
So we go, and NFL.com runs this article about Ric Flair, and they want him on their sidelines for the playoff game, for their upcoming playoff game.
Cam Newton was quoted, quarterback.
Cam Newton, Steve Smith is quoted, all the Carolina Panthers players, some big names, right?
Steve Smith even said he bought a Ric Flair robe when he was a kid.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. So then we get to the wild card games that happen, this past weekend. We've got San Francisco against Green Bay.
Packers,
Ric Flair is spotted in the San Francisco 49ers locker room. And he's giving them a pep talk. And we put the video up on WZROnline.com.
WWE promoted the fuck out of it.
Oh,
on YouTube and Raw.
So they promote this big pep talk. Ric Flair hypes them up.
Yeah.
San Francisco goes out and they defeat the Green Bay Packers. Ric Flair, San Francisco 49ers fan. With the win over the Packers, the San Francisco 49ers now go on to play
his hometown team,
the Carolina Panthers, this coming week. So now Ric Flair has a decision to make. Well, I was just in the 49ers locker room. So Steve Smith, who in the NFL.com article was praising him and saying, we want him on our sidelines, we'd love to have him. Steve Smith is pissed. He is pissed. He came out. I can't remember the exact quote, but he said, we don't want Ric Flair on our sidelines. He betrayed us. We don't want him anymore. And Ric Flair fucked himself, dude, because it just so happened that the 49ers are now playing the Panthers. And it's like, Rick's got to be thinking to himself, man, I wish Green Bay won that game. Man, I wish Green Bay defeated the 49ers so that it would be Green Bay.
I think even still, they would still be like, fuck it. You root for a team that we're going to be playing. Either way, we're playing one of these teams. So
hometown boy, your team is in the playoffs, and you know that the winner of the Green Bay San Francisco game, so San Fran wins, it's going to make you look like, what? Carolina's going to be like,
I guarantee you it's as simple as Flair doesn't turn down an opportunity to do something that cool.
Right, that's true.
A big locker room speech. So the 49ers offer to him, and he's like, oh, fuck yeah, I'll do that, and then doesn't realize the Panthers are campaigning for him to do it. All he would have to do is wait 1 week if he get to do the damn locker room speech anyway.
And here's the deal:
his team instead of this team. But
the game, I could understand. Okay, if the game was in California, Ric Flair, he's out there. There's Hollywood stuff out there. The game was in Green Bay. So what the fuck was Ric Flair doing in Green Bay, Wisconsin? Did he fly out just to do that in Green Bay?
Yeah.
Why would he be in Wisconsin? Yeah. Ric Flair in Wisconsin.
Maybe he wanted some cheese.
I'm thinking San Francisco called him up and said, "Hey, fly out to Green Bay, give our team a pep talk." Oh, he wouldn't have been in Green Bay. Come on,
because it was cheese.
With cheese heads. Yeah. Right. So anyway, Ric Flair, what happens this weekend, man? Is he San Fran?
Hopefully San Fran
doesn't go to the game.
Hopefully San Fran still wants him, because Carolina ain't fucking, you ain't on our sidelines, you fucking scumbag.
TNA. Let's talk some TNA, man. Not returning to the Impact Zone in Orlando for quite some time, man.
Booked up through the whole year.
Booked up through the whole year. I mean, they basically fucked themselves.
Now they're back on the road, right?
They've got to go back on the road until they can find a permanent home.
One more time. TNA 2014. And they ain't getting along. I've been saying it for months now.
I think they make it beyond 2014.
Their contract with Spike runs up this year too, right?
Does it? I think Spike's behind him. Spike's behind him.
I'd say Viacom probably buys him to retain the program, but there's a chance because SmackDown's up too.
That's true. Spike
could put in a huge bid for SmackDown.
Yeah.
And then the conflict of interest. Fucking TNA's out, SmackDown's in. TNA's done. Without TV, they ain't making it.
As far as the soundstage, is concerned, they had it booked. I mean, that was their home, and they opted to say, you know what, we don't need this anymore. We're going on the road. It didn't work out.
What was all the stories about? They went to this soundstage and because they were getting ready to come back and do it as their home base again, and they set it up and they went in there and they're setting everything up. Soundstage. We even had the number of the soundstage.
Well, they set it up for about 6 weeks worth of tapings, and then they knew that going in, you're only going to have this for a certain amount of time, and then we've got another production that's going to be coming in here. So TNA had hoped that another soundstage,
rename the soundstage for them and all that.
Another soundstage would become available, and TNA would just have to move a couple sound stages down. Nothing became available. They were all booked up, so they've got to go on the road for the current.
It's a well-run operation. They're running down.
They've got to go on the road for the current time, and that's going to cost them more money. And until they can find a location, I mean, there may be a city out there that they say, you know what, our building is free every Tuesday night or every Thursday night or something like that. You guys can use our building this week. Not only that, but TNA tapes, a month or two worth of TV tapings, so they don't have to go on the road
for a couple weeks still, right?
Right, and they don't have to go on the road for maybe once every 2 months or something like that to tape their TVs, and it would save them a lot of money. But they kind of screwed themselves in
they'd have to do a lot more money than they would have. But let's do a smooth transition. Let's say TNA doesn't make it 2014. All those guys, they might still have a place to work. Because the guy that started TNA in 2002 looks like he's doing it again.
Jeff Jarrett met with Toby Keith, country singer Toby Keith.
Red Cup, I fill you up. Let's have a party.
Is that a real Toby Keith song?
Yeah.
Are you serious, man? Get the fuck out of here.
The girls would play it back in the day. What? That's the only one I could tell you about.
This dude knows some Toby Keith.
I didn't know the first part of the lyric, though. I had to say something, Red Cup.
I love it. This guy's got some Toby Keith
Red
lyrics.
Paper Cup, is that it?
I have no idea, dude.
The girls would always play it, I'm telling you.
So Jeff Jarrett, man, he's his contract expired.
Oh, sure, the girls believe me. I don't listen to no country fucking music.
So Jeff Jarrett contract with TNA. It was done. He went to TNA management, and they parted ways.
Was it done, or did he resign?
Jeff Jarrett wanted out, man. Jeff Jarrett went to TNA and told Dixie, I want out. I'm done. And it was on January 6th. I believe it was Monday, right? It was Monday where he became a free agent.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
He went on Twitter and basically said there's been some big meetings that he's been involved in. We put the reports up. There's talk that he's going to be starting a new promotion, that he's got a financial backer in part with Toby Keith and a big financial backer beyond Toby Keith.
Who
that is.
Yeah, but
he has not denied these reports.
No.
He keeps talking about big meetings.
Pretty much fed into them. But
talk that Jim Ross was involved. Jim Ross denies that he was involved.
I think that was a separate rumor because Jim Ross had said something about meeting with a major sports thing, and I think people just kind of connected the
two.
And Jim Ross had met with Toby Keith, and they even took a picture together and all that.
That's
so
right.
Everybody was like, oh, this has got to be related.
Right.
A couple other things. Toby Keith was rumored to be one of the guys buying TNA in that TNA sale, and the other thing is, from what I'm hearing, Jeff Jarrett's deal, whatever the hell he's got going on, he's calling wrestlers, asking them their availability, this and that, and supposedly he says he can't tell them everything, but when he can, it's going to shock them.
I will say
there's something real big brewing.
I will say
Maybe he's got a TV deal already. I don't know what it is. Is that what it is?
Toby Keith has very, very good relations. He might even have a reality show
Red Solo
on the Country Network or the CMT.
Country
Music Television. And there's talk that Jeff Jarrett and Toby Keith with CMT, where they may launch a promotion, have a TV deal.
Hulk Hogan's
have a TV deal already in place with CMT. So Jarrett would come out and basically announce a new promotion and a TV deal with CMT.
Didn't Hulk Hogan do something with CMT?
No, he's going to be on that.
No, he did. He had something with him and Bischoff. Had something on CMT.
I know that Austin's got the Redneck Island that I think is
years ago. I could swear there was something Hogan Bischoff related on CMT. Because I remember thinking, what the fuck CMT?
Austin's got Redneck Island
on
CMT. I know that.
Was the midget wrestling wasn't CMT? That was Spike, right?
Yeah.
What was the celebrity wrestling thing they did?
No, that was on MTV.
MTV.
That was MTV.
Okay. I could swear there was something CMT.
I think it's only Austin on CMT, man. I don't
now,
think
yeah, but
Bischoff
I'm
and
talking a
Hogan.
couple
Right,
years ago. Yeah.
But this could be a big
the
deal,
micro
man.
wrestling or the celebrity. Yeah, what? Oh, they're just now catching up. Let's see if they.
It could be. No, that was MTV. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know.
Maybe the celebrity was CMT. Are you sure it was MTV?
I'm positive.
Okay.
That was Wrestling Society X was MTV, I believe.
Okay.
But anyways, this could be a big deal. Jeff Jarrett goes, Toby Keith.
Bam,
They've got
Celebrity Championship Wrestling, and it was on CMT. So Hogan's celebrity shit was CMT.
No, Hogan was micro championship.
Two different
wrestling.
things. Micro was the midget.
What was celebrity championship?
He had a
wrestling?
celebrity gig for a while. Brian Knobs, I remember, was involved. I think David Arquette was something to do with it. There was a couple of shit celebrities that
I remember Hogan's micro. I don't remember the celebrity championship.
I remember the celebrity. This is years ago, man. Like 5, 6, 7, something like that years ago. I remember it.
Well, anyway, this could be a big deal with Jeff Jarrett.
I'm just saying, yeah, they've done wrestling
financial
before,
backers, and Jeff Jarrett founded TNA, so maybe he's going to found a new promotion here, and we'll see what happens. Could be the next TNA.
And like Dustin Diamond, that was one of the other ones. Dennis Rodman, yeah, okay.
Screech and everybody else.
Yeah, that was CMT. But no, so like Spike TV used to be the Nashville network. Right. TNN. Everybody at the time was like, wrestling on TNN? What the fuck? And then eventually it just, listen, and there's weird shows on weird channels these days, like the Discovery Channel.
Oh, it's crazy.
Dana White's going to do a fucking Irish boxing show on the Discovery Channel.
But they draw big ratings, bro.
As long as you got something people want to see, they don't give a shit if it's on all. This is normally a channel for women.
The Honey Badger doesn't give a shit.
Honey Badger doesn't give a shit about anything.
Honey Badger doesn't give a shit about anything. Look at him. Just eats all the food, gets the scraps. Honey Badger doesn't give a shit.
At least this is a universal joke that everybody gets, you know what I mean? Everybody knows
Hopefully everybody gets.
Nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about.
Everybody knows about the Honey Badger doesn't give a shit.
Is that a big viral clip?
Yes!
Okay.
Honey Badger doesn't give a shit.
Never heard of it until you
Go to YouTube. Go to YouTube and put in the search bar, Honey Badger doesn't give a shit. Up on the top. Fuck, I'm telling you, you'll die. In 10 minutes from now,
I gotta clear something up. These guys are twisting two different things I said.
What?
Dana White has an Irish boxing reality show coming out on the Discovery Channel. They're in there correcting me. I think they thought I meant celebrity boxing was on. That was Fox. I remember that. China did the Buttafuoco fight. Screech and the
God, that was an epic fail, man. I remember the ratings.
Well, the first one wasn't. The first one was huge.
Which one?
China was the second one.
Well, they didn't renew it for a second season. No, they didn't.
They did 2 of them.
2 seasons?
No, I don't know about
2 fights.
Seasons, 2 shows.
Yeah, 2 shows, 2 back-to-back shows, and then I think the ratings tanked so bad. No, they were going to do a weekly series, man, where each week you were going to have a celebrity boxing.
I don't know about that, but I know they did the one and it drew big, so they did the second one, and then it was a novelty that died off.
Yeah.
I remember they had Manute Bol or Dikembe Mutombo, one of them big fucking NBA freaks boxing somebody fat, I think. It was weird shit.
What else here? We got about 10 minutes left, and then we've got WWE SmackDown being taped tonight in Philadelphia.
So talk about the WrestleMania shit.
Yeah. All right.
Piper and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. The remaining 10 minutes, Rob Van Dam likely for the Royal Rumble. Yeah. Should be back by then.
Tito Ortiz, suspicion of DUI. That happened a couple days ago.
AJ Styles returned to Ring of Honor.
Almost killed Roderick Strong.
With Roderick Strong. My God, man. That was Roderick.
Damn, I knew that was right.
Roderick.
Roderick. It's Roderick.
It was his fault, man. It was Strong's fault because it seemed like, he put his head forward instead of going back. Where AJ flips forward, Strong goes up, and he ducked his head under.
Remember what I said when he showed me the clip, because I didn't hear about it until he showed it to me. So he shows me the clip, and I say maybe he did that just to make it look more fucking whoa.
No, that was nasty.
Now listen, I know it's not. I said my first reaction. I know,
right.
But like you said, when he first hooked him up, he had his head in the right spot. It was lean, but he was ready to take it. Right. And then right when he jumped, he at the last second tucked his head the opposite way.
It was weird.
How would he not know? But all right. But I thought maybe he did it on purpose so it would look badass. But
yeah. So I got a memo from that was sent out to WWE creative writers. We put an couple exclusive articles up on the websites.
You did,
The main event, as of right now, penciled in for WrestleMania 30 is Randy Orton against Dave Bautista. Of course, plans constantly change. You got to remember, we're only in January, so a lot of this stuff may change by the time WrestleMania probably will.
Yeah.
But Dave Bautista against Randy Orton, as of right now, is the penciled-in main event. It'll be for the WWE World Heavyweight title. Randy Orton, at that time, according to the memo, is still WWE Champion. CM Punk against Triple H, pretty much a lock at this point.
Likely.
Could change, but it's very likely.
Is Vince still part of this?
We
the
don't.
longest time he was supposed to come in. And,
yeah, and then there was talk of him possibly being in somebody's corner, and there was going to be a power struggle and everything
all these
else.
Rumors.
See, that's the thing, man. On a week-to-week basis, creative plans are constantly changing.
Especially with WrestleMania.
Yeah, man. The big one was Daniel Bryan against The Undertaker. We put it up in the exclusive article that The Undertaker specifically asked to work with Daniel Bryan. Requested to work with him. What does that mean? Does Taker put over Daniel Bryan? And we talk about it all the time. Taker's the type of guy that on his way out, he's a veteran in the locker room, and he's old school.
He's traditional.
He's traditional
And what's the tradition when you're on your way out?
When you're on your way out, you're going to give the rub to somebody else. Right, you're going to put them over. You're going to put over the guy. You're going to pass the torch on the way out. And would Daniel Bryan be the guy that Taker would let end the streak? I don't think the streak ever ends, to be honest with you.
The longest time I did, for those exact reasons, but now it got too big.
He's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. He's always going to be that guy that was undefeated at WrestleMania, and it's.
Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, I got an interesting question to present to you guys.
All right.
An interesting question. Let's get it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm kind of getting tired of WWE and TNA. It's like they're just making their stories up as they go. And I think a different take on wrestling and presenting it as a product would be to present it the way Showtime does their series. Like, they got 13 episodes, and then give like an off season to the wrestlers so they can prepare. You could make awesome stories, and you could prepare for the matches so the matches are more epic. Just have like a 13-show series where you really build the characters in the matches.
Listen, from a creative standpoint, that'd be
awesome. Great. But it's about corporate greed. You hear it all the time. It's about the money. If there's an off season,
not so much corporate greed as it is their business structure. The model is set up. They're a live event company more than they are a TV company. They're fucking Ringlam's Barnum and Bailey circus. It's a fucking traveling touring show. That's where they make their money mostly, in the TV too. But from a creative standpoint, he's exactly right. If you took an off season and only had a 13-week schedule, could you imagine how great those shows at least had the potential to be? How much more important the matches would be? How much more rare everything would? It would be great.
Right.
But for that giant off season,
you're not making money, and
talent isn't making money.
Talent's not making money exactly. So. Thanks for the call, buddy. Appreciate it.
A new startup company could find a niche doing this that's something different to what WWE does.
No, I agree. Thanks for the call, like you said. But yeah, if somebody else were to come up and maybe they structure their business different to where they don't rely on touring,
or they would do an off season,
and let's just be a television property that happens to be a wrestling show. They could do that. Yeah.
Give it a shot. Caller, you're live on WZR TV. What's up?
I got two quick questions.
Callie.
Yeah, that's me. Turn this radio off.
That's me. It's Callie.
What's on your mind, man?
With Styles and ROH, I think I asked it before, but I'll ask it again. Do you ever see him, even at his age, going to WWE, maybe NXT or SmackDown or something like that? Or is that
with who in ROH? I'm sorry, I missed the name.
AJ Styles.
Okay, go ahead.
In ROH. He's kind of a free agent, so do you ever see like Triple H negotiating with him and bringing him to WWE per se?
WWE's never really been interested in AJ. It's well known, and for some reason they're just not. They've never been real high on AJ Styles, and what that reason is.
Well, right now there's a couple reasons. It's the same mindset they've always had, where they don't like internet darlings, is what they call them.
That's true.
Size is a thing with them, not so much anymore, but it still is a thing. That's why they're not signing Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards, which were two guys everybody thought was going to get signed. They're not signing them. I don't know if we've mentioned that on here. But AJ Styles, another issue with him is his age. He's getting up there in age now. So WWE looks at him and says, well, what's the upside to signing this guy?
Right.
He's going to cost this much money. He's only got this window of time to work. He's not going to get over immediately.
And you got a guy like Dave Bautista coming in who's like 45.
But he's already over to their audience. Yeah.
Right. And not only that, dude, but TNA wants AJ back if they can get him. So
Jarrett probably wants him for his thing.
I'm sure Jarrett wants him too. So I mean, if TNA, don't be. It's not out of the realm of possibility that AJ Styles may be back in TNA. They're still talking. They're still negotiating. As of right now, he's not under contract. That's why he's able to go to ring. You're a fucking dickhead, man.
And
you are.
Your second question was what, Kelly? Go ahead.
Yeah, and sorry, man. And one last question. You just say he's 45. I didn't know he was that old. But do you ever see Batista or Lesnar, Brock Lesnar, ever doing MMA ever again, or is that it with both of them two?
He talked over the important part of the question. Something about Batista. What'd you say?
Do you ever see Batista or Brock Lesnar doing MMA like UFC or ever again? Or is that it?
I think
doing MMA.
All right, thanks for the call. Yeah, I think there's a chance Brock could come back. You want to get the fart out of the way real quick? Before
I wanna let you know what this motherfucker just did.
Did it right into the mic.
Motherfucker stood up and farted in my face, and he does it every morning. Every morning, he comes into my room.
Sitting there. I was doing it into the mic.
I'll be on a computer, right? He comes in the morning. Hey, what's up, man? Good morning, dude. And he rips it, and then he takes off, and then he leaves, and he shuts the door, and he leaves me in there with this stink ass a little wave towards me, and then walks out of the room every goddamn morning. You
juvenile
fucking scum. Just an immature fucking douchebag.
Yeah, somebody should isolate that. I would love to see his facial expression when that
I turned over.
He gets mad. I'll fart in his room like, dude, get the fuck out of here. Kick me. Get the fuck out of here with that shit, man.
And then he said, what do you expect me to sit here and just be like, well, who do you want?
Well, let me say,
Jesus, dude. All right, listen, WrestleMania, we got to finish this up because we got to get out of here right at, we only got a minute. Batista versus Randy Orton. Daniel Bryan against The Undertaker. Does Taker put him over? John Cena versus Bray Wyatt is still planned. Triple H against CM Punk. And original plans, like we talked about earlier, Dolph Ziggler against Sheamus. Dolph Ziggler was going to be U.S. champion, and then I would guess that Sheamus would have taken the title at WrestleMania, but that remains to be seen. Also on the creative memo, there was a Team Alpha against Team Bravo. What that means, it could mean a tag team match, or it could mean team members where it's like a 5-on-5 for WrestleMania, but it said Team Alpha against Team Bravo was listed, and then the other one was Dean Ambrose against Damian Sandow against Roman Reigns against Biggie Langston in a fatal 4-way that could be turned into a tag team match. We had Roman Reigns and Biggie Langston were listed as baby faces, and we had Dean Ambrose and Damian Sandow, which were listed as the heels for that match. Now, was it a fatal 4-way match, or did they turn it into a 2-on-2, Reigns and Langston being the baby faces and Ambrose and Sandow being the heels?
You know which one I think has the most likelihood of changing from now until April?
Probably either the main event or Daniel Bryan against Taker, depending on what Lesnar does.
Well, first of all, I don't think Daniel Bryan Taker's happening. I think it'll be Taker Lesnar.
The one that has, I would say, Team Alpha versus Team Bravo.
I don't know what that is. I'm saying, so there's only 3 left. No, I'm saying Roman Reigns is going to be in a higher spot by the time April rolls around and dicking around with the IC title.
Come the Royal Rumble, bro, something big's going down with Roman Reigns.
That's what we were told.
He's going to spear, multiple dudes in that match.
Wouldn't be surprised if he won the Rumble.
I don't think
wouldn't be surprised.
I would say Dave Bautista's going to come in, win the Rumble, and then go on. Like the main event is Dave Bautista against Randy Orton. It's an automatic setup. You win the Royal Rumble, you go on to main event WrestleMania.
I say either Reigns, Bryan, or Batista wins that Rumble.
The win for
Bryan's even in it.
the way that they're hyping up, well, Daniel Bryan wouldn't need to win the Royal Rumble if he's going to go on to face The Undertaker.
No, but if he's doing the title match, what I thought was remember I keep saying like maybe they held off giving him the title because they'll do it at WrestleMania, so he has the big moment at the biggest stage and they really crown him as the next guy.
You know what? I think it comes down to probably
wishful thinking.
Probably, you know what? I'll say it comes down to Dave Bautista against Roman Reigns, and I think Batista winds up winning the match, and then at the pay-per-view after the Royal Rumble at Elimination Chamber, you're going to see Dave Bautista against Roman Reigns there, and then Batista, by winning the Royal Rumble, is going to go on to main event WrestleMania against Randy Orton, who will still be WWE champion.
I can see Batista taking the belt. Yeah, I can see Batista taking the belt from Orton before Mania. Now Batista doesn't win the Rumble. Reigns wins the Rumble. He gets the guaranteed shot, so you're thinking about Batista. But then Batista wins the belt before there, and then by the time you get to Mania, you got Batista versus Reigns, the two big fucking monsters.
They could do it there, and you can have the showdown. Well, see, I think we see
and
the last two
Reigns
guys.
Beats them
the last two guys in the Royal Rumble, I think I can picture it. Everybody's eliminated, and then you have a stare down between Batista and Roman Reigns. They go at it. Batista wins, goes on, like I said, to face Orton at WrestleMania. What happens to Reigns? We'll have to wait and see. But Reigns is going to be that guy in the Rumble where he's going to spear multiple people,
be in early
set a record,
get a lot of people out of
set a record, most spears in a Royal Rumble, something like that, or most
something
like
spear.
that.
How are you going to spear somebody over the top rope?
You're not going to spear him, but I'm saying in the Royal Rumble match, most spears in the match, not eliminations. I'm the fucking.
I'd say he'd have the most eliminations. That's what they would give him the record for.
We'll have to wait and see. I mean, they are going to push the hell out of him.
I think he comes in early, somewhere in the first 10 entries, and eliminates a fucking slew of people.
He probably will.
They might do that gimmick where...
Or if they put him out there early on, and anybody that comes down to the ring, he automatically eliminates them. Next.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I remember one year, Austin kept, like, he would eliminate people as soon as they come in, and he'd be fucking staring at his watch, like, who's next?
Just waiting.
Boom,
get
him. I think Reigns is, they do a point where he's, like, the only guy in there. Somebody comes in, he kicks their ass, throws them. Somebody else comes in, kicks their ass, throws them. They can't do that for all of them.
See that.
But I'd say a couple in a row. And
next week is the last week of WZR TV before the Rumble.
Well, it's the last Raw and the last WZR.
All right, so we'll do a big Royal Rumble rundown next week on WZR.
If we have the whole card by then, you never know with WWE.
We may only have 3 matches, man. We've only got 2 right now, right?
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of SmackDown, WWE main event SmackDown spoilers are going to be up on the website here.
Did you see what I was showing you in the chat earlier?
What's that?
It was a spoiler. I don't know if you want to give a spoiler.
What do you got?
One of the matches for Rumble. Big
Go ahead.
All right, turn your speakers down. We'll give you the thumbs up. I heard that they confirmed it at SmackDown. Something we already knew. Brock Lesnar, Big Show. Confirmed for Rumble.
Big Show. Okay. No doubt.
Yeah, that was. Somebody in the chat said that. So I don't have it verified.
Was Lesnar out on SmackDown or no?
I don't know. Maybe they just confirmed it without Lesnar being there, or Big Show challenged him.
Big Show probably challenged him.
Anyway.
All right, so they're going to be up on the websites in the next within the next half hour. They should be ending pretty soon here. We started off
we got
slow.
2 weeks. Yeah, you're right. Shit.
2 weeks. All right. Well, we'll talk Royal Rumble the next 2 weeks, man. It's a big pay-per-view. So we started off slow. We came around. It was a fairly decent one by the end of the show.
Finished off strong.
You woke up a little bit. Farted in my face.
It happens.
Had a good time. Tuesday night, WZR
so close to one
TV.
Getting down there too. It'll be while we're off the air, probably. You want to take one more call?
Yeah, sure.
Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Fellas, what's going on? How are you?
What's up, man? What's on your mind?
This is Mario from Detroit.
That's my boy. It's fucking crazy. What is it? It's nuts. It's cold outside. Whatever your thing was. Yeah. What's on your mind, dude?
I just wanted to let you guys know I'm watching the Michigan State-Ohio State basketball game, and at halftime just now, I sent you, Boone, that video of them in the locker room doing the
Brian thing. Yeah.
They just had the whole entire Breslin Center and East Lansing do the yes chant.
Did they?
Erupted the whole place.
Awesome.
That's fucking crazy.
I'm going to go put that game on right now while I do main event and SmackDown spoilers.
All right.
So.
I keep saying is Hulk Hogan backstage. What the fuck is that? Thanks for the call.
No, everybody said there's no reports of Hulk Hogan. He may be backstage at the tapings, maybe visiting or something like that. Philly wouldn't make much sense, but he's not scheduled to appear at tonight's tapings.
He's having a meeting with Vince.
It could be a meeting, could be something like that. So we're out of here. We'll see you guys next Tuesday night. Stay tuned to the website for WWE Main Event and SmackDown spoilers. We're gonna have those up, like I said, in the next half hour or hour. Should be fairly soon. We've already got main events, so we're going to get to SmackDown. That'll do it.
That's it.
See you guys next Tuesday. That's what?
That's it. It's been 2 weeks, and there's what you get.
There's what you get.
Hard. You got everything.
Happy New Year, everybody.